Okay, hopefully it's 8:10. That's when we usually get started with class anyway, so put that in your notes also, because I got an 11-year-old. I have to take to school every other week, and sometimes he's not on all 8 cylinders, and sometimes I have to hit him upside the head and beat him and all that good stuff to get him to school on time. So sometimes I'm late, all right? So we'll just say 8:10-ish. Is that okay with everybody? One person, I really don't want to do that. I really want to start at 8. Get out, leave, okay? Because I don't want none of that in here. And people, they need a life. And you will soon get a life, because you will soon get in the real world, and you will see that things do not go in your OCD way. Okay? So we'll go 8:10-ish. It'll give you all time to get down an extra biscuit. Trying to think of any. The reason I forgot to send this out to y'all with your handouts, and just delete the email 1 and email 2, and if you haven't printed out your, if you haven't printed them out and you're back in 1990 and you don't check your email, you're one of those people. It's not cute anymore. You need to get with the program. It's almost 2020. Do this. Okay, now the only thing really you need to highlight, because you know everything else, is the server. See the server where it says exchange.tctc.edu? That's what you have to remember. So you need to highlight that. Okay? The only other thing is that username. You need to put the TCTC, and then that would be H. McClure. Like if I was doing it, it'd be H. McClure, and then my password or your T number. Some of you have T numbers because you're a new student. Some of you are former students and you switched from your T number to a password. Whatever you use for your email, you put in here. Okay? And you want to call it something like TCTC email, so it'll show up on the front of your phone. It'll just say, you'll know which one it is. I mean, mine even says you got an email from work, so I'll know to check it. This is very, 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 very important, okay? So just think of me as your employer, wherever you work. If you got a part-time job, a full-time job, all right? I have to say this because we have some students that are not in touch with reality, okay? For instance, I had 3 students in my Math 120 last semester, Math 120 and another class. Email me a week after grade turn-in. Now, for those of you that don't know what grade turn-in is, it's about 4 days after the last day of the last day of finals. Okay? Everybody with me? A week after grade turn-in, I had 3 students. All of them had 15 dead grandmothers, 5 flat tires, all this BS. All right? And they notified me a week after grade turn-in because they missed the last test and the final exam, which is online. But I don't know how you miss an online final exam and test. I don't know how you miss that because I give you a week. Anyway, so I said sorry. How many of you have a job? Okay. Who can I pick on? I'll pick on this little lady right here. Where do you work?
Hot Topic. Hot
Topic. I have no earthly idea what that is, but I don't go to town. I'm an Amazon person. Slowly, the older I get, the more and more, the closer I get to Anderson, the more and more frustrated I get. So I don't go to Anderson. So I don't even go to whatever that is. But anyway, what would happen to you if you didn't show up for a week of work? Let's say you work 60 hours a week, okay, or 40 hours a week. And some people work 60. You ever met one of those? My ex-mother-in-law was like that. You ask them how they're doing, they have the China flu and all that stuff. You just don't ask them, you just say hello. But anyway, you work 60 hours a week, and your employer is thinking you come in the next week. But you don't come the next week, but you wait about 4 days after you get back to notify your boss. What would happen?
I'd be fired because we have a day, like, if you miss 3 days, you're done. So.
Well, what are you supposed to do when you're going to be absent for more than a week? What would you do at Hannah or Westside? What would you do? Yeah. All right. So we're gonna lay down the law. all right? I'm your boss. You think of me as your boss and your other instructors. Because then I'll have the helicopter parents. Then they'll start emailing me. You know what I did? Forwarded it to my department head. Because my department head knows me. Okay? And she knows that I put all this stuff, I give you all these handouts, I give you all the time in the world, I give you some time at the end of the semester to redo things that you haven't done, and you're going to come to me a week after grade turn in? No. That ain't going to work. So I didn't even respond to the parents. Okay? Because in my world, they don't exist. Okay? And that's the thing with your privacy. Okay? Because y'all are all at least close to 18. And once you hit 18, we have to follow the privacy laws. Okay? So, now what does that have to do with this? Well, I'm fixing to show you. This is important. It's just like your employer telling you that you need to do whatever at work so you can communicate with work. Okay? It's just like that. So I want you to treat me just like your boss or your supervisor at your part-time job or your full-time job. As far as an extended absence. Most of you, 90% of you, will follow that rule because your parents have beat it into you or instilled it in you that you have to be responsible. Okay? But there's some students, like I said, that, you know, unicorn land, candy mountains, and marshmallow skies, you know, that's where they are. And the helicopter parents support that. So I ain't got no use for that. So please don't call me a week after the fact and a week after the fact telling me that your dead grandmother died and had 5 flat tires and the house burned down and you were out a whole week and you couldn't take a final exam that lasted 7 days. Okay? If you have any issues with the this thing right here, whatever this is called, email, mobile, whatever it's called, help desk for anything dealing with Tri-County Tech or Blackboard, which Blackboard will be down half the time, is 646-1779. Do not call down there with attitude because these are computer service people. They have job security, and they will give you an attitude back, and they should. Okay? Don't call down there and be nice. They'll be nice to you. We have some people that just, I don't understand them. They need to be on medication or something. Make sure you call them. Now notice, did I say MyLabs Plus or did I say Tri-County Tech Blackboard? Tri-County Tech Blackboard. I do not use Blackboard. I do not use Blackboard. I do not use Blackboard. Do I need to say it any more times? Okay? Somebody in here will email me or text me and say they can't find my homework and test on Blackboard in the next week or the next 2 weeks. Anybody want to bet me? Somebody in here will do that. Okay? MyLabs Plus issues. Now, what is MyLabs Plus issues? Well, there's 2 types. There is Tri-County Tech affiliated MyLabs Plus issues. That's login. And then there is MyLabs Plus period issues. MyLabs Plus issues has to deal with your home computer and MyLabs Plus not jihading, okay? Not going together correctly. How will you know if that happens? You'll see a white screen where there needs to be a homework problem or a test problem. So you might want to write that down, white screen, okay? Usually that can be taken care of with search engine, switch to another search engine. It can also be taken care of if you disable your malware or your protective software, whatever. Any type of issue like that, or an access code, invalid access code, call that 188 number, all right? And we'll talk more about access codes when we get to the handout about access codes that I sent you to read before class. And the last thing is, as far as help, if you have a Tri-County Tech login issue with MLP, in other words, you go to Blackboard and you hit the button, or you go to this TCTC MyLabs Plus and you try to log in with H. McClure and T number, or whatever your username at T. If it's TCTC affiliated, then log in. You email those two people, Muhammad Gobadi, Dr. Gobadi, and Dr. Marshall. All you need to do is email them and tell them what's happening. If you call them and tell them that you're having issues with your computer at home, they're going to refer you to that 188 number. If you call them and say you have an access code problem, they're going to refer you to the 188 number. Okay? So make sure you make note of those three resources. And what was that? Did y'all hear a buzz?
Oh, like a horn.
Yeah. That last website is the website that you can use and bypass Blackboard. Okay. Tri-County Tech adopted Blackboard, I don't know, 6-8 years ago. And I never was impressed with it because it looked like to me it was 2 steps, you go 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Well, to me, Blackboard was 2 steps back. And MyLabs Plus was a whole lot more sophisticated and a whole lot more user-friendly. So I told my department head I wasn't using Blackboard and got chastised for a couple of semesters, but then finally they gave up on me because Blackboard stays down half the time and it doesn't work as well as they thought it was going to work. I'm not saying I predicted that. That's not what I was saying. I was just saying that I didn't like the way it ran compared to MyLabs Plus. So to make a long story short, I don't use Blackboard. That's number 4. Okay, I said that 4 times. So if you want to bypass it, go to tctcmylabsplus.com. Now it's best to do your initial log on for what? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you. Oh, that's fine. There's 2 seats there, 2 seats there, and 2 seats here. I just got to move my stuff.
And I guess we need to check your roster.
Okay, did y'all just add, or y'all just lost, or late, or what?
They have us still showing 225.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So y'all don't read y'all's email either, do you? I sent out an email saying, well, all my classes meet in 202. Don't worry, I've already chastised the whole class. Y'all are not, I'm not picking y'all out. Remember, it's 2020. We have spacecraft in space, We have cars that almost drive themselves. So, like I said, like I told the whole class, I don't check my email, that went out about 2005, okay? It's not cute anymore. Now it'll get you in trouble. It'll get you in trouble if you don't check it. All your classes, every one of them, check your email at least, or get this to where it'll go off and you'll see there's an email, okay? All right, and another thing I told the class before y'all came in is on your email, there's 3 emails. There's the first email, the second email, and the third email. Just print out the third email, the attachments on the third email, just delete the first and second because all the updated stuff that I forgot in the first and second is in the third. So just email the third, okay? If you just added this course in the last 24 hours or 48 hours, whatever, and you're not on the list, you'll find that out today when I pass the roll around. Your name won't be on there. Just add your name and your T number and see me after class, and I'll shoot an email to you, forward that email to you that I sent out. When was that, Saturday or Sunday? I sent out email 3. Sunday? It was Sunday afternoon, I believe. So if you added after Sunday afternoon, you don't have it. I got to send it to you. All right. This is how you get your email to your phone, and those numbers right there are the numbers that you will need in case of problems with Tri-County Tech issues, MyLabs Plus issues. It's supposed to be MyLabs Plus, not MLB. Sorry, that's a typo. And MLP login issues, you can email those 2 people those 2 instructors at tctc.edu. And the second internet site that you can use beside Blackboard is right there. Make sure you put the TCTC in there. All right. Now, the reason that is, if you put MyLabs Plus, you're going to go to the generic home website. And you're going to say, enter into the class, and it's going to ask for your course ID. And then you're going to email me and say, I need a course ID. I'm not going to respond because you didn't read what? You didn't read the directions. You didn't read that. I didn't say go to mylabsplus.com. I said go to what? tctc.mylabsplus.com. So if you write me an email that says, I need a course ID, I'm not going to respond because you just hung a sign around your neck that says, I can't read simple instructions. Now, I can tell you this with all confidence. I'm very fair. You can check anybody that's had me before. You can check anybody on Rate My Professor. You can call somebody that had me before. I'm very fair, and I make the class very comfortable. I try to, okay? But I don't put up with slack-assness, all right? I don't. I do not repeat myself. So these things right here I just said, I'm not going to repeat them again. So if you call me up and say, what's that 1-800 number? I'm going to say, I have no idea. When I say I have no idea or I have no clue, that means you already have that material in your handouts or your notes. Okay? I'm trying to think of anything else pertaining to this. I don't think so. Question, gripe, complaint. I think we're going to talk more about MyLabs Plus here in a minute when we go over the handout. So let's go over the handouts. Where is the handout? Let me go to sent. I think it's in there. Where's that? What are y'all, 120? Yeah, I sent it out at 4:45. There it is. Okay, the first handout. And I gave y'all some information here also. There's y'all some specific information. Start reading chapters 1 and 2 via outline of the book. What does that mean? Well, the element in the book, that's supposed to be in your handouts. The outline says, if the outline says read 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3, 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3, do you need to read 1.5? No. Okay? So follow the outline. We'll talk about the outline in just a minute. So there's some things about my class, and I even tell you to go research me. Go find a preview of me or my class. You can go to YouTube and watch the first and second day. This is very generic. This is a very generic presentation. The bigger the class, the more yucky I am the first day. Okay, so y'all getting the worst side because this is a dual enrollment class. Okay, I'm gonna be dealing with about 10 of y'all are former students at Tri-County, or not former students, current students at Tri-County. 90% of y'all are in high school, okay? And 10 to 20% of those 90% that's in high school, I'm going to have to deal with in some way or the other. I hope not, okay? And usually the way I present this first and second day of class, I usually don't have to deal with those people. If you read my class thing, my class handout, over 7,000, 8,000 students I've taught in 20 years, and I've only had to ask 3 to leave. And they were all male, and they all had self-issues. They had self-confidence issues. They had something. They need some medication or something. All right? But I had to get, it was just belligerent. Okay? So I don't put up with that. So, and most of y'all are good students because you're going above and beyond because you're doing dual enrollment to try to get a jump on college. So I'm preaching to the choir on some of this stuff, okay? And I know that. But for that 1 or 2 students that I have to deal with, I'm trying to lay it down that I'm going to just, I'm going to shoot a warning shot. With anything I do, with any of my rules in class, I fire a warning shot. I'm going to say, didn't I tell y'all something about using your blah, 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 your cell phone in class? And that's the warning shot. That means that somebody in here needs to take something out of their ear or something because you didn't listen. Okay? Then, if you do it again, and I got a good memory when it comes to stuff like that. When it comes to names, I suck. I can't remember names and I can't remember phone numbers. But the second one, I will call you out in class and pretty much embarrass you. Third time, I'm just going to call security and ask you to leave. And we can meet with the director downstairs and security to get you back in class. Never had to do that, except for those 3 times. Okay? So the numbers are against you because I'm very fair. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at that first. Then y'all can read over this. I think it says I don't use Blackboard twice in there. So that's 6 times. Hopefully y'all starting to understand the people I'm talking about. The 10%. Okay, I do this because I'm conceited. That's what one student put on my evaluation. You know, damned if you do and damned if you don't. If I don't present myself and introduce myself, what are you going to say when you leave the room? Well, I don't even know who my math teacher is. If I present myself and tell you a little bit, I'm conceited. So I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. But anyway, the reason I do this is because a long time ago, we used to hand out index cards, and we used to have each student write a little bit about themselves, like 5 topics, and we'd put the topics on the board. And then we'd shuffle them up, and this is what I'd do. I'd shuffle them up and pass them around and try to figure out who's who, you know, that kind of thing. Try to get it does 2 things. It gets people to know each other in the classroom, and it also makes the classroom comfortable and interactive with each other. Because some of y'all don't know each other from Adam's house cat. Some of y'all, you know, go to this high school. Some of y'all go to this high school. Some of y'all go to Tri-County. Some of y'all live out of the area. So, you know, there's a kind of a thin layer of ice on the first day of class. But I quit doing it because people couldn't figure out what I was. They couldn't. There was 10% just screwed it up. So I just quit doing it. I had to explain too much. So I kept doing this because I 2 reasons. One, in order to form, to me, a comfortable learning environment, the teacher cannot be the academic god or goddess. That's just my personal. If I come up here and tell you how great I am and tell you how many degrees I got and tell you that if you don't call me doctor, I'm going to throw you out of the room, what's that going to do to half of you? It's going to turn you off. You're going to be, I want to drop. Okay? And the rest of you are going to be like, oh, God, here we go again. I don't do that. I do the opposite. I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I'm not a DA or anything, but I don't go into all that, and I don't really care if you call me Hubert, you call me McClure, you call me Mr. McClure. I don't care, all right? But the second reason I do it, besides the communication of who I am, is to give you 5 different ways to contact me so you don't contact me a week after grade turn in that you missed your final because of 5 dead grandmothers. You see? Look at those. Look at those. I mean, I even give you my snail mail. All right? I give you my cell number. I was one of the first instructors because they gave me a hard time about it. They said, you don't need to give your cell number out. All right? I did. And I've been doing it ever since. Okay? I give you my office phone number. I give you my office email. I give you my home email. I give you my office. And not only do I give you the room number, I tell you what? What I tell you right beside there? Directions to go to my office. I also tell you when I'm in my office. The locator card is another handout. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to give you my phone and email in just a second. Okay? So 6. That's 6 different ways to contact me. And then I give you the directions to my office, and I give you my office hours, when I'm in my office. Everybody count? That's 7 excuses I've just took away from what? From you. But I still have 3 students last semester call me a week after grade turn-in. You see what I'm dealing with here? I'm dealing with just a minority of the population. We're going to talk about that. A minority of the population, unicorn, candy mountains. They're not in reality. They think they're in some kind of fantasy land. All right? The rest of it you can read. The rest of it you can throw away if you want to. I don't care. I just give you a little bit about myself. All right? All right. That's how to get in contact with me. Oh, my Gmail is hubertcmcclure@gmail.com. So write that down. What is the best way to get in contact with me? My phone. And guess what? All of those things, except for snail mail, will come to my phone. How do you get your voicemail? I forward my voicemail to my email, and then my email is forwarded to my phone. So I've just taken, I called last night at 11 o'clock. Guess what? I got it. One of the things you're going to realize about me is I take away every single one of your what? Anybody say it? Somebody's caught on. What? I'm slowly taking away every one of your excuses. So if you ever meet somebody that's failed my class with like below a 50, or says that I'm a terrible teacher and they couldn't pass my class, you need to step away from them very slowly, because either the stupid or the lazy is going to rub off on them. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it in a realistic 10% of the population way. Okay? You're not going to find too many people that's going to say I'm an unfair teacher or that I don't teach the class. I'd like to know, and if they do, I can guarantee you their score in this class was probably below a 60. And that means, and when you look back to this day, when you finish this class, you're going to say to yourself, how in the world do people fail his class? Okay? And you'll come up with the 10%. All right, so that's that. So you got plenty of ways. The best way to contact me is either call my cell phone, text my cell phone, or email that Gmail, or you can email the others. They'll come to the cell phone too. The reason I'm telling you this is sometimes I'm not in my office because I'm downstairs. I'm in another classroom doing something with another teacher, setting up something. I'm in a meeting. I could be at the Pendleton campus. Just because my office hours says office hours does not mean that I'm sitting in there twiddling my thumbs. I'm not. Okay, so there's other places I am associated with Tri-County Tech. So just remember that. If you're coming from BFE, I mean in here, Belton Honey Path. All right, you coming from Belton Honey Path, I could say Crescent too, okay? If you're coming from, I grew up around Crescent, right on the border. Part of our farm is in Crescent District, part of our farm is in West Side District. So I'm right down there, West LA, West Lower Anderson, all right? So BHP, if you're going to Greenville to pick up a part for your car or something, you're not going to travel 30 minutes and not know if the part has come in yet. What are you going to do? You're going to call. You're going to call and say, did my part come in yet? I ordered it Monday. Did it come in yet? You're not going to travel all the way up there and say, my part come in? No. Okay. Turn around and come back. Now the 10% would, but 90% of y'all would not do that. Okay? The same thing with me. If you're coming from BHP, dadgum Piercetown, dadgum Lounsville, South Ivy, if you're coming from down there, please text me and say, are you in the office or are you somewhere else? Now, around 2 or 3 o'clock, I'm on the farm, okay? So chances are, if you need help, you say, Hubert, I need to be up there at 2 o'clock. Can you put me in as an appointment? Yes, I can. And I'll stay up here. Please don't stand me up. You'll only stand me up one time. Okay, don't stand me up. If you're not going to make it, just text me back and say something came up. Okay? All right. So that's that. So let's look at the locator card. Take that excuse away from you. Something else. Once I cover these handouts, once I go over the material and I vocally tell you what to highlight and what to circle and all that stuff, that information you have. So don't ask it throughout the semester. When are you in your office? I have no idea. If I tell you I have no idea, that means you have the information in your notebook. Okay? That's why I asked you in the email to do what with these handouts once you get them? Print them out and what? Read them. I have so many students, and I know you haven't read them when you ask me some of your questions. Just like the question about the class ID. We haven't had a class ID for MyLabs Plus since 2000. So that tells me that you're not reading your handouts. Okay? All right, so locator cards, the next one. Now this is pretty self-explanatory. I shouldn't have to explain this too much, but I go over it so I can tell you you have that information. Basically, this shows you my schedule. And I told you in the last email, if I'm not in my office, the second place to look is in this classroom. Now, for the last 3 semesters, while we've been doing this Polycom class, this classroom has pretty much been mine, all right? Not that I own it or anything. I spend a lot of time in here working with this stuff, all right? So if I'm not in my office and the door's locked or closed, that means I'm somewhere else or I'm not here. So look here. And if I'm not in here, then that means I'm in a meeting somewhere. Text me, find out where I am. I'll tell you when I'm going to be out or when I'm coming back or if I've gone to Walgreens or whatever. Communicate. Communicate is a two-way street. I'm a very good communicator. I will communicate to you if I'm going to be absent, if there's going to be a test change, if there's not going to be a test, if we're not going to meet Friday or Wednesday or whatever. I communicate with the class. But that is a two-way what? Two-way street. You've got to take a mouse and hit one button to check your what? Email. Okay? So, and you've got to take this information and you need to read it and you need to highlight it. So there's the office hours. Now, if you notice, my office hours end at 2:35, but that doesn't mean you can't come after 2:35. The only thing I say is by appointment only. In other words, after 2:30, if you need my help, which we'll get into that later when we get to talk about MyLabs Plus and you sending me questions, we'll talk about that. I usually don't have office hours. The reason I don't have office hours is a good portion of the first part of class is going over questions that you send me through your homework through Ask My Instructor. Okay? Question. All right, so there's that. So now when I tell you to come by my office, you say, okay, or yes, sir. You don't say what?
Why?
Where's your office? Oh, when are you in your office? I'm going to say what? I have no idea. Because you know it. How many of you despise to repeat yourself to your family or at work? How many of you hate that? Okay, well, the people that are raising their hands about repeating themselves, you can relate to me because I do not like to repeat myself. There's 2 things I cannot stand besides obnoxious brats, okay? The obnoxious brats is first. Repeating myself and paperwork, which I pretty much, you don't see me with a big notebook, you don't see me with a big file, do you? I do not do that. I can't do it. You will not see me with a PowerPoint. You will not see me with an overhead projector with a bunch of transparencies. I don't do paperwork. I can't keep up with it. All right? So you're going to get pretty much live problems, live homework problems, live questions. You're going to get that. You're not going to get the prepared robot teacher. You're not going to get that. And if you don't like it, drop. I got plenty of students in here. All right. Hubert's class courtesy. Number 1 rule. Hubert treats students what? The way I want to be treated. You disrespect me, I'm going to disrespect you, which never happens. Those 3 times. 3 out of 8,000. Because I did that 7,500, I did that like 2 or 3 semesters ago, so at least I know I've done probably around 300 or 500, somewhere a little bit more. So I'm going to say 8,000. Out of 8,000 students, 3 were disrespectful to me. And I threw them out of class. They never did come back either. They never did meet with me or the director. I guess it was because they were in the wrong. But anyway. If you interact with me, I'm going to interact with you. I'm very reciprocating. I don't know if it's my personality or if it's my being a teacher. I don't know. But in my past, I had crappy teachers, just like y'all have. And in my past, I've had great teachers. And if I was going to be a teacher, should I be an asshole or should I be somebody to communicate? Okay? Not many people want to grow up to be an asshole. And I'm sorry I use that word. Ass is a mule, okay? And if you got a problem with that, I'm sorry, Snowflake or Cupcake. I'm sorry. All right? It's an animal. Okay? I could say the B word, but then somebody would faint, okay? It's a female dog, okay? But anyway, what was I talking about? I done forgot what I was talking about. Oh, how many of you inspired to be a rear end? I hope none of you, okay? So I'm sorry, I took the other route. And you're going to see that after the first week when I go over all this stuff. I loosen up after today because I have to establish this information. Okay? And after today, you won't see this drill instructor mentality coming from me. Okay? You will if you ask me one of these questions that I've gone over. I'll say, I have no idea. And then the student beside you will go, he gave you that in the handouts. Okay? So be careful what you ask as far as general information. All right? If it's a legitimate question that I have not covered, then we'll talk about it. All right? Cell phones. If you notice, I have a cell phone. Luckily, I hardly ever do it, but I turned it on vibrate. Okay? There's 3 numbers on here that I will go in the hallway, even if I'm in the middle of class. McLeay's school. I'm sorry, McLeay's. That's a story behind that. I'll tell you sometime whenever we get bored. McLeay's and College of Charleston, which will soon be Clemson because she's coming back to go to Clemson. She just got accepted for the fall. And my mother. My mother calls all the time. I give her my locator card. She don't read it. I don't know if she don't want to read it or she just calls. So those 3 things, I'll walk out, I'll get up, I'll say, excuse me, I need to answer this. And I'll get up and I'll walk out in the hallway and I'll answer it or I'll send a text, one of the 2. Okay? So if I do that when I get an important phone call, what should you do? The same. Okay? If your phone goes off, I keep going. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm not going to sit up here with a cell phone and tell you can't have a cell phone in here. We had one of the teachers, pick this up. Now, what's that going to tell at least 5 or 6 of y'all to do? Play with your cell phone during class. That's what this is going to say. All right? So anyway, think of it like this, and this is with cell phone and with texting. Now, texting, 90% of y'all are good with it, but there's 10% of y'all that need like medication or rehabilitation, okay? Because you can't go 5 minutes without using this phone. That's a problem, people. That's a problem. I'm being serious. That's a problem. All right? Think of you coming up to me and asking me a question about a homework problem. And right in the middle of you asking a question, I start texting somebody. What's that? Now, switch it. I'm talking and you're texting. No, I'm talking and you're texting, but you're also insulting my intelligence by putting the phone between your legs. Or putting it behind a book. Okay? What was I before I became a teacher? A student. I didn't have cell phones, but we did just as much stuff that we weren't supposed to as you did. Okay? I'm asking you to be courteous. I'm asking you to be respectful. If you need to text Jody or Susie, okay? If you need to text that, and it's just imperative that you text them to say, I love you. 1, you got a problem, and 2, go outside. Don't do it while I'm teaching because I'll call you out on it. Okay? I think that is one of the pet peeves of teachers. It's a pet peeve because of 2 reasons. Because of the students that have the legitimate problem, and then there's a respect problem also. Those are the 2 problems. Am I talking about this whole class? No. I'm probably talking about 4 or 5 of y'all. Okay? So I've got to go over that for the 4 or 5 students. Candy Mountain. Unicorn Land. This is not online class. It's about a third online. All your homework, all your tests, all your quizzes is on MyLabs Plus. Now, there's old saying, there's always one that screws up everything. Well, about 2 semesters ago, we get a directive from above me that says we need to start doing in-class tests. 5 years ago, they were all telling us to do what? Use technology, use the computer in class, use this, use this. And then 2 or 3 years later, they say, well, we really need to put some in-class tests, so whatever. So I'm a very technological-driven instructor, all right? If I see something working, I don't try to fix it. All right. So I said, okay. I didn't ask what was supposed to be on the test. I didn't ask how much it was supposed to count. I have to give 2 in-class tests, and I have to give you all an in-class final. The rest I can do online. So what I do is I give you an in-class test, and those questions have to do with, you know, bonus. You'll see the bonus questions on each test, and you'll start to see what the in-class test is. I have to put a math question on there too, so nobody will. The main thing is, if somebody asked you if I gave you an in-class test in Math 120, what should you say? Yes. There you go. Don't say, no, he really didn't give us an in-class test. Okay? It's 10% of your grade. All right? I make the in-class test to where if you don't pass it, you shouldn't tell anybody. Does everybody understand that? Okay, 5 questions. I do it. We put you don't put your name on it. You put your pet name on it. Uh-oh, I done made her mad. I'm sorry.
No, I just realized I think I'm in the wrong class.
Oh, no.
It took me like an hour.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
I should have told you it was Math 120 at the beginning.
No, you're good.
Okay. Bye-bye. Lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Pet names. You put your pet name at the top of the paper. I give you the questions on the board. You do the questions. You pass them up. I shuffle them around. I pass them out. We grade them. Then you turn it back. Then I give it back to me. I send it around. You find your pet name, and then you put your name on it with the grade on top of it, highlighted or circled, and then that's your in-class test. I do it just because I have to, not because I want to. Okay? So that's the only thing that you have to do in class. On a scale from 1 to 10 on you having to worry about the in-class test is about a half on a scale from 1 to 10. You don't need to stress over it. You don't even need to worry about it. You just need to come in whenever I tell you to come in. Now, I've got one former student in here. I know one back there. Anybody else? Were the in-class test easy? Yeah. Okay. So he's not lying, as they are. And sometimes I even make them depressingly easy. And I give you questions, and I usually give you the in-class test after you've taken the online test. And the questions, some of the questions, if I give you a math question, comes from an online test. So if you do fail it, then you shouldn't tell anybody, okay? Because it'd be embarrassing. Attendance. The attendance policy, there's a lot of things at Tri-County Tech I disagree with, and this is one of them, all right? If you go to college, you shouldn't be required to come to class. That's up to you. You're an adult. You should do what you want. If you know the material, there's no reason for you to sit in a class for an hour and a half bored out of your skull. So I tell students, you can Skype in, and I will count you here, but I have to see you. You can't just Skype in with no video. I can't. Your brother could be Skyping in for all I know. Okay? Or you can come in the door, tell me you're here, let me write your name down, and then you can go do whatever. Again, I do the attendance because I what? Have to. Financial aid. Financial aid is cracking down on the 0.0001% fraudulent students. We're talking about 1 out of 10,000. They're cracking down. Federal government's cracking down. But we got people coming. Shut up, Hubert. Shut up. All right. So the rest of it, you read, okay? Attendance policy and above, I just wanted to go over that, okay? So that's that. Next one. I'm not going to go over the syllabus till last. My class. This is just another kind of tell you what this class is going to be like, give you a little bit about, my schedule. I just told you how many classes I'm teaching, what classes I'm teaching. Telling you about what the Polycom class is so you know what all this stuff is. There's 2 types of students that really get on my nerves. 2 types. Besides the 10% that's in fairyland. All right? The one type is the hammies. All right? You know Hammy the squirrel? The one that's jumping around, and that's the hammies are the ones that come up to me the day after I do this and say, when's the first test due? I just look at them like they're an idiot. I haven't even covered the first what? Math. And you're asking me what day the test is. Okay, don't worry about test dates in here because I will go over the test in class online. Will I not? Don't I go over the test on, okay? Do you have to worry about dates in my class? There. So Hammy's either take some medicine or drop because I don't want to deal with you, all right? And the other one is the obnoxious brats. If people avoid you in the hallway and go into the bathroom to avoid you, chances are you're belligerent, okay? If you talk a lot in class and nobody else talks, chances are you're belligerent, okay? So kind of curb on that and know-it-alls. Any of y'all ever taken a psychology class and there's one person in there that knows more than the psychology teacher? It never fails to happen. In a psychology class, there's always one person that knows more than the psychology teacher. Nursing students, we got any students going into nursing? There's always going, when you get into nursing classes, there's going to be this one little old lady that's the nursing assistant of 100 years. She's been a nursing assistant for 100 years. And she's going back to school to get her nursing degree. And she knows more than the doctors. There's always one person in the classroom. I tried to curb that person. I tried to get that person to stay at home and Skype in because I can mute that student. Okay? I'm serious. I want you to come to class because you want to be here. And I will make it. Now push this day aside, okay, because this is dictator day. First day is dictator day. So if you don't want to be here, stay the heck home, okay? I don't want you in here because what are you going to do to the environment of the class? You're going to ruin it. You're going to make everybody uncomfortable. You're going to make everybody to where they don't want to interact because you're going to be running your mouth all the time. You're going to say everybody's wrong and you're right. You just ruin, you've been in a class like that, you know what I'm talking about. It ruins it, okay? So if you're one of those people, take some medicine or stay home. You can Skype in or you can watch the videos, okay? You just don't get a present for watching the videos. You don't get an attendance for watching the videos. Again, I'm very reciprocating. I like to interact. If I ask you questions, I want you to what? I want you to answer it. I don't want you to. Patrick Starfish, I don't like. I don't like that, okay? Now, don't go overboard. Don't just answer the question and shut up. All right. I will do my best to teach the worst student in the class. Now, let me define worst, okay? The worst student is the one that don't understand the material, okay? Or the one that doesn't know the material. So I will spend as much time as I need to on a subject. If I look around and I see a confusing look on that face or I see a confusing look on that face, I'm going to say, okay, we're going to do another problem because that's what I'm trained to do. That's what I was taught to do. Read your faces, okay? I think those last three sentences is give you a little bit of the 10%. That's to the 10% in fairyland, okay? I don't play that, okay? So I just don't, okay? It's like I told somebody the other day, you know, you get out of something what you put into it. If you suck in this class, you're going to fail. If you work hard, you don't even have to work hard. You just have to work, okay? It's not like chemistry or anything or calculus. I mean, Math 120 is a good subject. It's mostly used more than other math classes are, all right? But Math 120 is not to train you like calculus and algebra is, okay? Calculus and algebra is to train your mind to solve problems. Probability and statistics is not to solve problems. Probability and statistics is for you to interpret data. That's all it is, okay? Collect and interpret data. So, any more on this? No, my name. Okay, that's that. Hopefully, by the time you get through reading these handouts, you get some idea of what kind of teacher I am. And no, I don't suck. All right, MyLabs Plus, our first instructional handout. There it is. You see why I think it's important for y'all to read these things before class? That's why I sent out 3 emails to make sure everybody got them. Okay, the Blackboard web address. I'm not even going to talk about Blackboard, okay? But on the left-hand side, there's supposed to be a MyLabs Plus bridge thing. Did anybody see it? Did it read this? Did anybody see it a bit on Blackboard? Did anybody? Was it on the left-hand side? Hell, I don't know. Just go to the website I gave you. Just go to tctc.mylabsplus.com. All right? And there's the 2 names I gave you. The only thing I want you to highlight on this page is right after those 2 emails. Highlight that sentence, please. And it says the preferred browsers for MyLabs Plus are Firefox, Safari, Google, and not Internet Explorer. But there are instances to where if you're using Google Chrome throughout the semester and you get a white screen, switch over to Firefox or Internet Explorer and it'll work. Okay? 90% of the time, if you get the white screen, all the stuff is around. You got your tabs over here. You got your stuff at the top. You got your blue boundary around the side, but there's no homework question or there's no test question. Chances are 90% of the time, just switch search engines. Just switch to another one. No matter what you're using, switch to another one and it'll work. If that doesn't work, reboot the computer and try it. If that doesn't work, then you need to call the 188 number. But most of y'all are going to find out that your only problems are going to be at the beginning of the semester because that's when you're doing this on your home computer. And some of you that haven't had MyLabs Plus, your home computer may have malware or software protection or whatever, virus protection, and you have to disable it while you're on MyLabs Plus. And it's safe. We've been using this since 1997, okay? It's very safe. Nobody's said that MyLabs Plus put a virus on my computer, all right? So make sure you make a note of that one thing, okay, of this whole thing. There's the click on Blackboard, and there's a MyLabs Plus link, but I've heard students say it's not there. So they told me how to put it on there. I put it on there, and if it don't take, then I'm sorry. There's a problem with Blackboard. It's not a problem with the way I did it because it had very specific instructions. I did it, and it should be there. If it don't work, go to the website. Okay? I'm a firm believer if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it's broke, don't use it. And I don't use Blackboard. That's number what? 7. I can't find my homework on Blackboard. Let's see, what is this? That's MyLabs Plus Office Handout. Another instructive handout. Somebody tell me what this is for. It's for you to download what? Microsoft Office. There's the portal address right there. Okay, now why do you need this? Well, it's free for one thing. It's included in your tuition. Nothing's free. Okay, there's always one and nothing is free. You get 5 downloads. So you can download one on your phone, download one on your laptop, on your home computer, on your, what do you call them things? I hate them things. Notepads, whatever you call them. I don't like those things. I like something with a keyboard. I guess I'm just old school. I like a keyboard. Now, give me a wireless keyboard, I can do that. But that's about it. I can't do that thing on the screen. I can't do it. I've tried. I've given it a college try because I taught the Polycom class with a touch screen. And it really sucked. I didn't like it. So if you have one and you love it, then put this on it. You get 5 downloads. Now, included in that is all the Microsoft goodies. But it's also how you get Skype. Skype for Business. Not Skype, but Skype for Business. There's a difference. All right? Use Skype for Business for emergencies. Okay? How do you do it? Well, you'll see in just a minute. I'm going to give you the handout. It tells you how to do it. But once you get Skype on your computer at home or your phone and daycare comes up, a sick family member comes up, a work issue comes up, and you have to go to work right after this class or something like that, then you can Skype in. After you do it for 3 weeks and there's not a physical problem, if you do it for 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to I'm going to say this was for emergencies. Why are you doing it for 3 weeks? Okay, because that's taking advantage of a, what do you call it? Not a right, but a what? What'd you say? Privilege. Thank you. Couldn't think of the word. You ever done that? You ever call somebody, or a squirrel? You ever call somebody and forget who you're calling while it's ringing? Oh my gosh, I've done that so many times. And you sit there and go, hold on just a second. I'm trying to remember who I'm calling. I mean, honestly, have you ever done that? Or go through a stop sign and you don't know if you stopped? Okay, so I'm not retarded, okay? I forget things too. All right. Go to this, download it, and use it for emergencies. As far as the Word, the Excel, the PowerPoint, the Publisher, all that's for you to use in class. But the Skype for Business, you can use that in here, and I will count you here. But you need to use it sparingly. Okay, use it just like cut days. Use it sparingly. Okay? Now, how do you get on? Well, I'll show you. I'm not going to show you how to get on it. You log in. You use your. When you go to the portal, use your hmcclure@tctc.edu. That's your email, whatever your email address is. As soon as you hit enter or tab after you type it in, it's going to redirect you to a Tri-County Tech login. There you put in your Tri-County Tech login email address or email, hmcclure, I think it's hmcclure, or whatever your first part is. And then you put in your T number or your password, and then it will install on the device that you're installing it on. Okay? I think it has one button you push, install, and I think it does everything itself. Now you have to go and look for Skype because it's not going to be like on your desktop. You have to go down to the Windows and type in Skype, and it'll come up, and then you can redirect it to your desktop. Okay? Next one. Oh, great. They log us out every 15 minutes because nobody uses email in class. We got a bunch of T-Rexes on campus. We got people asking for overhead projectors. No joke. We still got one teacher that uses a TV and a VCR. We got one teacher that complains that the whiteboard's not big enough. And they got this board that gives you over and over whiteboards. You just do it over and over and over, and it just blows my mind. And these people have degrees. It just blows my mind. Anyway, I'll shut up. Let's see, 120, there we go. Office handout, YouTube, there we go. All right. This is something I've been doing for 5 years, okay? Even when I couldn't do it on the board, I had I asked for the department to give me a camera, a video camera, and I had a little tripod, and I'd set it up right about there, and I just had it on the board. And I've been doing it for about 5 years now. So you can go back and pull up Math 120s for the last 5 years. If you want to get more problems, if you want to get another explanation from me, which is pretty much the same explanation. I mean, I use different problems, but it's pretty much the same explanation. But you can go back and actually find other classes that I've taught. All right. Now, what's that got to do with why would you use it in here? The same reason you would use Skype. If you're absent from class, or you go on a vacation, or you have 15 dead grandmothers. All right. You can go back and look over the week. Do not email me. Do not text me and ask me what I went over last week. Because I will not answer. I'll just hang up. This is one of those things that is kind of like a gun and other things. It's better to have one and not need it than need it and not have one. All right? If I didn't do this, somebody by the end of the semester would tell me, Hubert, you know what you ought to do? You ought to start videoing your classes and putting them on YouTube. All right? I've been doing it for the last 5 years, and I guarantee you people don't use it. But it's there. It's there for you to use if you what? If you need it. All right? What the heck is that? Is that my phone? Yeah. See? It went off. Y'all supposed to have a heart attack. Somebody trying to call me. All right. So that's what the YouTube videos are for. For those people that miss a week, for those people that miss a day. So after today, and you know where the YouTube is, and you know how to find it, don't email me and say, what did we go over? What did you go over yesterday? I have no idea. How to Skype. Well, after you log in, all you have to do is text me and say, Hubert, I'm Skyping into class today. And give me your first name, middle initial, and last name so I can look it up. And then I will invite you to the class. All right? Now, if you at 8:10 try to add my class, add me on, then I know that you didn't read what? You didn't read the directions. All right? Why do I not want you to just come in? Because I may not what? I may not be here. The computer may be down. All right? The reason I want you to text me, if there's something wrong, I can text you back and say, you're going to have to wait. I got to boot up the computer. Or I'm almost on campus. Or, there's a fire drill or something. There's a reason I do things. One reason is to see if you can read the handouts. The second reason is because there is another reason in the class that I want you to do it that way. I want you to contact me, not invite yourself into the class, because like I said, I may not be in this seat when you do it, or I may not have the system up, or there may be something wrong with the system. The whole point is you need to follow the directions. Okay? I have so many people last semester, they try to add me. And there'd be, while I was booting up the computer, there'd be a little thing down in, bling, so-and-so is trying to add you in Skype. I didn't add them. Why? I didn't even have Skype up. Okay, they wasn't following the directions. Registering on MyLabs Plus, we're going to talk about that Thursday. What day is today? Tuesday? Yeah, Thursday. First day is classroom logistics. Second day of class is MyLabs Plus, homework, test, and quizzes, logistics, and stuff. All right? How do you get your access code? There's 3 ways to get your access code with MyLabs Plus. 1, it comes with the book. Okay? It comes in a little cardboard pamphlet thing, and it has a scratch off, or it has a pull tab. If it has a scratch off, please don't take a kitchen knife and scratch it off, because what's going to happen? You're going to scratch off the dadgum numbers, and then we're going to be in a big mess. Then we're going to have to take a picture of the UPC code, email MyLabs Plus, and 6 weeks later, we'll get you logged on. Take a nickel or your fingernail and just gently scratch off the polymer or whatever you call it. All right? Please don't sit there with a jackhammer or ice pick. I have to tell people this. In the past, can you fix this? And they give me this, and it's got a hole through the cardboard. And these people procreate too. Okay? Use something and be gentle. Okay? All right. The second way is to get it at the bookstore. Now, every semester we have 5,000 students come in here, and the bookstore orders 5 access codes. 5,005. So the chances of you getting an access code in the bookstore is 0 because they don't order enough. Okay? So you probably depend on 1 or 3. 3 is to get it online. There's a tab that you come to, or a screen that you come to, and it says, do you have an access code? And it gives you the place to type in your access code. That is, if you bought it at the bookstore or if you got it with your book, you type it in. The second one is free 21-day trial or something like that. That's for the financial aid checks to come in and for the scholarship checks to come back in 2 weeks or whatever, or 2 days or whatever, for you to use it to do homework and whatever until you get the funds needed to get your access code. And then there's a third that says buy your access code online. And it'll direct you right to the payment screen. They don't even want an access code. They just want you to pay for it. Okay? So it takes you to the screen. You type in your debit card or credit card. Boom, you're in the system. That's how you do it. 3 ways. Book, bookstore, and buy it online. Now, I always get the question, what about Amazon? What about eBay? Well, 2 things. When you're dealing with the internet, you always have to keep both eyes what? Open. People do sell used access code and they're no good to you and you've already given them $50. 2, it may be inactive. It may be for another book. Okay? These access codes coincide with the book that you bought or the book that you're supposed to use. Okay? If you get a physics access code or they don't tell you it's a physics access code on eBay, you're screwed out of $50 or whatever. I would say stay away from buying an access code on the internet or from anyone else unless it's still got the polymer on it or the pull tab on it. If it's still got the polymer on it and the pull tab on it, or they're going to stand there while you type it in before you give them the money, then you can do that. But what you don't want to do is give them the money, take the access code, and 2 days later type in the access code. You don't want to do that. Okay? If they've scratched it off and tell you that they haven't used it, and they're going to stand there and you type it in to check it and get in, then you give them the money, that's okay. But other than that, or the scratch off is still there, or the pull tab is still there, those are the only things I would do as far as buying it from somebody else. And make sure that it matches up with the book. Okay? If it says Multivariable Calculus 2, second edition, and you're in Math 120, I wouldn't buy it. Okay? All right, so that's that. Now I'm going to talk about the book here in just a second. Spring, what is that? Spring, academic, amen to this. I want everybody to print this one out. This is the academic what? Calendar. And you don't need the first page, but you definitely need the what? Second page. Make sure you print that second page out and put it in your notebook. I besides names, I'm good with faces. I'll remember your face 10 years from now. But as far as names, phone numbers, there's a third thing that I'm terrible with. Dates. Okay? I'm terrible with dates. I have to ask my son when I'm writing a check, what day is it? Or what date? What's the date? I'm not one of those people that recite the date 15 times as I look at the calendar that morning so I can remember what day it is. I'm not one of those people. So I don't keep up with dates. And if I don't keep up with dates as far as the day, do you think I'm going to keep up with this? For you to ask me, when we out for spring break? I'm going to look at you like I have no earthly idea what you're talking about. And I don't. I usually let the students tell me, oh, we're going to be here, we got a test next Monday. We're not going to be here Monday. Okay. And then I say, why are we out? Okay. I don't keep up with it. So you need to print this out and put it in your notebook. There's several dates that you need to remember. You need to put down in your calendar. 1, the first day of class. 2, the last day of class. 3, and we're session A. 3, the last day of the exams week. There we go, right there. And these are all 3 bonus questions that I just gave you. They'll either show up on every unit test or they'll show up on the last test. Okay? When is the last week of finals? When is the week of finals? That's what the question will ask you. When is the last day of class? That's what the question will ask you. You get points for these questions. People, do they get them wrong? Yep. What's another one? MLK Day. Somebody will show up here in the parking lot Monday. Okay. What's another one? Well, anything with section A, session A. Oh my God. Spring break. When is spring break? That's another one you need to know because of you need to put that in your calendar. And I think last day to drop, somewhere down here. Y'all find it. I don't know where it is. Session A, last day to drop. Y'all see it anywhere? Where do you see it? Up here? I'm sorry. What'd you say? Here we go. Last day to withdraw. March 15th. That's the last day you can draw with a W. Withdraw with W. So make sure you write that down because that's not a bonus question. That's just a question for you if you're failing a class. All right. If you're failing Physics 101 and you have like a 37 average, you need to drop before the 15th. There ain't no recovering 37 average. All right. And the last is the syllabus. Now, I'll save it for last because the syllabus is a bunch of bureaucratic nonsense. Okay? Something for somebody in Columbia to read. So I want you to skip the syllabus and go to the most important page in all the handouts. Right there. That's the outline. The outline is your Bible, is your manual, is your 10 commandments of the classroom. It is what you go by. So if you got one of those plastic covers on the outside of your notebook or an inside folder inside, that's what needs to go in there because that is what you go by. All right? If I tell you to read chapter 1 and chapter 2, you read whatever's got a 1 in front of it, whatever's got a 2 in front of it. You don't read 2.5 and you don't read 1.6 because it's not on the outline. I very, 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 very seldom add to an outline. Do I take away? Yeah. Some of these in the future I won't even cover. Okay? I'll say we're going to skip that. So it would behoove you not to go what? Ahead of me as far as your homework. Because you may do 2 sections of homework that I don't even want to cover. And then I'll just take them off and that's extra work that you've done. So the best thing for you to do is stay with me. What I cover, you do at home. Okay? If I don't cover it, you're not responsible for it. You may still see it up until the last week of class, but you're not responsible for it. All right? If I skip 5.1, then you don't need to do it. You don't need to come up to me and say, do we need to do 5.1 homework? I'm going to say, I have no idea. Because I haven't covered it. All right? So with me preparing for class, you as a student need to be into the class. You need to know what's going on. Okay? Knowing what's going on, the first step is having that in the front of your notebook. Okay? If you miss a week, you can go to the videos and see what I went over. But if you miss a week, you can see if I left off on 2.1 last week and you missed this week, then you know chances are I'm going over 2.2 and 2.3. Because I usually cover a section or 2 a day after we get chapter 1 out of the way. I mean, unit 1. Unit 1 is 30% reading and 70% math. The 30% reading comes out of chapter 1 and chapter 2. The 70% math comes out of chapter 3. So I'm going to kind of, next week, we're going over, Thursday, we're going over chapter 1 and chapter 2 in class. I'm just going to go through, I'm going to pull the book up online, which you can do also. I'll get into that Thursday, so don't buy a book. Don't open the book unless you already have. If you have, then that's fine. But if you're thinking about buying a book or you're thinking about opening that book, wait until Thursday, and I'll talk to you about how you can not buy a book and save yourself $20, $30, $40. Okay? But that's why I put in the handout, don't what? Don't buy a book yet, and don't open your book until you've talked to the instructor. Because the instructor may tell you a way to save money. Okay? So that's the most important piece right there. Question? All right. Now, this is something I do the first week of class. And it's only for the first week or 2. The reason I do it, and I want you to take it, find your name. You can go ahead and put your stuff up. Oh, yeah. Don't do that before I get through. Okay? I got to assign somebody in here to tell me what time it is. So whoever's sitting up here at front or somebody that wants to tell me, don't do it in an obnoxious way either because I'll get mad and tell you to leave. Find your name, and under January 9th, I have to explain this because somebody's going to screw it up. Under January 9th, I want you to put your initials that you are here. The reason I do this is because at the end of the semester, somebody's going to say, oh, well, I never attended. Yeah, you did. I got it right here. That's why I do it the first couple of weeks. Now, pass it around and wait till it comes to you. Don't be standing behind somebody, all right? You still got a couple of minutes before class is over. Now, does anybody have any questions about classroom logistics? We're going to go over MyLabs Plus and a lot more of what you need for class Thursday, okay? But anybody got questions on what I covered today? Anybody? It's usually not going to be this minute to minute, beginning of class, usually I don't do that. My class is usually 70% math, 30% chasing rabbits. Okay? Or 20%, 80%, yeah. Some people complain, but I tell them to drop. But they stay in. I don't understand that. If you don't like the class, drop. Take another class. There's other classes at 8 o'clock, you know. I had one last semester, my dual enrollment class, say that I talked about politics too much. What class are we in? What class is this? No. What is it? Probability and what? Okay. In a presidential election, what's all over the news besides news about the candidates? What else is all over the news? You are kidding me. 1 out of 30 said I talk about politics too much. Yes, if you're taking a probability and statistics course and it's a general election or a midterm election and you're taking a probability during that time, what do you think your teacher's going to talk about? Sex? If you're taking a probability and statistics course, you're going to be talking about polls. You're going to be talking about how to get the polls bias. You're going to be talking about margin of error. You're going to be talking about looking at the fine print at the bottom. I can't win. Okay, where is it? Y'all got it? Okay. Now y'all can go if y'all want to. Y'all have already signed it. The rest of y'all just have to wait. What time is it? 9:20 what? And we get out at 9:35, right? Oh, I suck. I'm sorry. Oh, well. 2 minutes late. Nobody's going to turn into a pumpkin, I hope. Now I got to do my polycom class. So have you heard anything about me?
My advisor told me that she advised me to you, so you were really good.
Oh, well, okay. Just want to hear if you heard anything bad. What'd you hear?
I just read your rate.
Oh, no, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Good.
There's 3 things I don't like to do. 1, I don't like to hear myself talk, okay, like on a recording. I don't like to videotape myself, and I don't like to look at my evaluations. The only reason I looked at those evaluations was because it was like I said, I had 3 or 4 people that I wanted to see if they put something on there.
Both of my professors have good ratings.
Well, I tell students, if it ain't above a 2, get the hell out.
Well, I have a 4.4 for my English teacher, and then you're a 4.4.
Sheck, he's good. If you can get his sense of humor. If you've got a sarcastic bone in your body, you'll get it. But if you don't have a sarcastic bone in your body, you're going to think, huh?
They give you an upgrade?
Yeah, how you like that? No, they moved it up here instead of being in the conference room. But we get to, then they put this up here too. That's the 3D camera, or not the 3D camera, the 360 camera.
The microphone.
Yeah, it's the whole kit caboodle. Yep.
This is a big difference.
Yeah, no, it's like 10 in here. 8 or 10.
Maybe about 10 people in there.
Yeah, well, it's only 10 per class. 3 classes, the Easley campus, Pendleton campus, and this campus. It's 30 people.
Whenever someone we had last semester, they were only
Oh, yeah.
in here, and I was like,
Yeah, So, I'm off the clock.
Yeah.
What's up?
I took probability and statistics last semester, but I had too much on my plate, so I did withdrawal, and my professor was terrible. I still have access code. How long is it good for?
Actually, if you're taking the same course, you don't need it. You can just log back on.
You can?
Yeah.
It was just last semester. He's been there forever. He was at Pendleton campus. Oh man, I can't remember his name now. He's been there forever. So when you said BFE, I try not to out laughing. I've never heard a professor refer to that term.
What about you in
I've lived in both. My parents still live in 20th Ave. I live in Belton.
Belton. My mama's people from Belton. My mom
You know you're from Belton if you say Belton.
Belton, and not T. Belton. My mama was a Shirley.
Really?
There was a lot of Shirleys.
What's your mama's name? Just curious.
Just Sarah, but she had been in Belton in 50
I know
years.
I know Shirley. Some Shirleys in In Belton. I'm trying to think of their other school.
I don't know a lot of my kinfolk because my family, my mama's family was very reclusive, and they didn't. They kind of stayed amongst themselves.
Yeah.
Because my uncle mainly, he was kind of. I guarantee you, your parents or your grandparents know my uncle, and I don't even know who you are. My uncle was very notorious in
My
Belton.
family was too. We're King.
What's your last name? King.
King.
As long as you're not Goldman. My uncle shot the Goldman brothers about 15 years, 20 years ago.
I think all of us.
Thank you, sir.
If you live in a small town, you've got some kind of nut in your family. I don't care what's your last name. You've got a nut in there somewhere. So.
Well, he did. He shot him down there. He shot, and it was a big
Oh my
thing in
gosh.
Anderson. Yeah, it was a big thing. You ask your parents about it. I guarantee they remember it.
My dad, he's done the pawn shop. He did it in Belton. Now he's in Honeypath. And so.
Okay, my uncle owned a pawn shop. He partially owned a pawn shop right there at the fairgrounds. Was that it?
This is in Belton.
Oh, in Belton. Okay.
So I tell my daddy and tell everybody else I can't get away with murder if I wanted to, because everybody knows.
Oh yeah, well that's me growing up here. But my uncle had a shop and where he worked on tractors, and he was a mechanic. He could be a mechanic at General Motors. I mean, he was just that smart. And he had a wall of Pepsi and Coke machines filled with beer. And he would have Thursday night barbecues. He had a barbecue restaurant. And not even approved by DHEC, or nobody said anything, although they were scared of him. And he had, and inside he would have these buckets of quarters, because those beer machines. He would fill those beer machines up and sell beer at $2 a can.
That's awesome.
And he would do stuff like that.
That's awesome.
And when he died, they found 5-gallon buckets of quarters all over the shop, and he had the top section of it, a pan
So
on
get
top,
to
and put sand in it, and people put their cigarette butts in it. People didn't even know they were putting their all over the place. I think there was 25 or 30 buckets of quarters.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he was an interesting piece of work.
Hey,
I guarantee you, your
But he made
parents
some
or your
money.
grandparents probably know my uncle. His name was Robert Shirley.
I'll ask, 'cause my daddy knows everyone.
Well, he knows Robert then,
But
or he's heard of him, because your dad's, how old is your dad?
my dad will be he just
So
turned
he's younger
42.
than I am.
He just turned 43. He'll be 44 this year.
Yeah, his daddy or his mom or daddy will probably know, or your mama's mom or daddy. She's from Belgium.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
have to ask.
Yep.
And I've got one more question.
Yeah.
Because you talking about how you teach and stuff. You were saying how you're not the other way. I swear you described one of my professors to a T. Do you know anything? I've been asking people if I know anything about him, because I had him
Who?
one time yesterday. Mr. Holiday. He teaches English here.
No. Is that the one that dresses in a suit?
Black. And
Get
he's
out.
Really?
Get out if you can. I've heard terrible
I
things.
have two. I thought I did.
You didn't pull him up on Rate My Professor?
That was the last English class I could get into. He's the
I'd
last
go
one.
back and try to find one.
I've heard two. I mean, we walked in there and it's like a robot teaching the whole time, and he was just to the T, so strict. And you talk about the way you teach, I was like, keep this guy.
I know. Well, I'm in the minority, unfortunately. See ya.
Thank you.
How'd you get an upgrade?
I bitched and I bitched and I bitched. Who said that? I don't know.
Me.
For the Polycom class, because I've been teaching with a document cam, which is like putting a 2-barrel carburetor on a 5.0 Mustang. I mean, honestly, now I've got the 4-barrel. Now I've got it. Now I've got all the pieces to make it work. And I'm waiting for. Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
You decided to take me again? You a glutton for punishment, ain't you?
Guess so.
You and Thomas. Who's that back there? I don't know if I know her. No, I haven't had her before. I think we got 8 in here, 7 or 8, which 10 is the limit. But the Pendleton campus has 12. So
10 is the minimum or 10 is the maximum?
10 is max, because 10 times 3 is 30.